Welcome back. You're still watching The Globe and our special focus this week on the Kingdom of Morocco. And we're speaking to the South African ambassador, the Moroccan ambassador in South Africa about the challenges in his country and also the vision that the country has for the future, not just in Morocco, but the continent as well. Your Excellency, thanks very much indeed for continuing our conversation with us. And let's move on to matters Africa. And Morocco was recently readmitted to the African Union. Was that a sign that Morocco considers itself very much a part of this continent? Because there was feelings that when you withdrew, that you didn't really feel a part of this continent. What's the position that you have now as a country when it comes to the continent?
Well, thank you very much for this question. You know, when Morocco left the African Union, it was for a political issue because we felt that the charter of the African Union at that time, OAU, was violated, and entity was with no attribute to sovereignty was admitted. Well, we made our evaluation and we came back to the African Union. But even, I want to make it very clear, that even that we left the African Union, we never left Africa. Because Morocco is not only African by geography or by history, the African blood is in our DNA. So today we are working with our African partners to build up, as Ramaphosa said, audacious and prosperous Africa. And I thank you very much for asking this question, because today I believe that COVID-19, and let me please insist on this issue, will be a major geopolitical turning point in Africa, path toward development and prosperity. I think what we need today as Africans is a concerted and continental management of the pandemic, which is decisive, and of course, it will greatly impact our success or our failure as Africans. I think we today is a priority, and we are in South Africa. We must fully grasp the issues that are on stake, and we need to follow the ambitions of our people, and especially women and young in Africa. Our economies, and you agree with me, have been impacted. Our growth prospects show a slowdown, and our health system are today put under a very considerable strain. So today, what is important, and let me insist on that, we need courage, we need vision, we need leadership to guide our actions towards the development in Africa. And humanity, a lot of people forget about humanity, must be essential in all the policies that can today drive our or should be, if I may say so, at the heart of our priorities. So today, Africa can and will emerge stronger only if we are united, if our unity prevails over our division, solidarity over our egoism, and lucidity. It's very important. Lucidity should...
Right. But you still have a number of countries that you still have to win over, because there was some resistance to your readmittance to the African Union, and there's some countries that still very strongly about your position in Western Sahara. So I
don't agree with you on this issue. Morocco is an important player in Africa. We have maybe 2 or 3 the countries are still reluctant, but we never left Africa. We will continue to work Africa. Africa is in our DNA. Africa is our foreign policy. And today, you see, these ideologies are finished. We should work, fight against corruption, build democracies, build regional integration schemes to move forward. Because if you'll allow me, failed states, non-democratic state cannot play a role in accelerating job creation, sustainable development, and so on. So I must correct this. There are a lot of misconceptions. Morocco is a key player, is the one of the major actors in peace and security in Africa, major contributors of peacekeeping force in Africa, and we are respected. And don't forget, my friend, that the most important today for us, all of us, is how much job do we create and how much growth we promote. Because we cannot continue to support any failed state. To imagine if today we create vacuums. See what happens in Sahel, see what happens in Mozambique. Because today we are facing the same challenges as far as security. As we need strong states, we need a democratic state to build audacious and prosperous Africa.
Okay, so we've seen that you've been assisting a number of African countries combat the COVID-19 pandemic. Let's talk a little bit about how you've managed it in your country. How have you been able to tackle the challenge of COVID-19 in Morocco?
Well, we anticipated since the beginning. We closed the frontiers and we used some innovative tools. As far as we have, like you, we have created a fund to help the most deprived people, to help the people who lost our jobs. We invested in hospitals, and thanks to the leadership of the king, we were able to gather all the stakeholders in order to fight the pandemic. We were successful. Because we were in an environment where there were a lot of infections in Spain, because we are only 14 kilometers from Spain, from Italy, and from France. So we had to take drastic measures. Thanks God, we were able to succeed. But the most important is the leadership of the king, but the humanitarian approach. Because, and today, as I am talking to a very important TV channel in South Africa, we need to build up an Africa of health. We cannot continue to ignore the needs of our population. We need to invest in this field. Listen, today, security is important. Military intervention is important to fight the extremist movement, whether it is in Libya, it is in Sahel. But today, the most important thing is how to promote economic development, how to create growth, how to respond to the expectation of our young generation. That's why we need to work bilaterally at the level of the regions, African regions, but also at the level of African Union. We want African Union, strong African Union that could be able. So today we need, I think, to work together, to sit together, and to plan together to build a secure Africa.
All right, let's talk a little bit about Morocco and how it's facing outwards in terms of vision, not just for the continent, but I guess the region in the north as well, and the world at large. How are you positioning Morocco and its place in the world?
Morocco is a very active country in the international scene. We are very much concerned about our situation in the region, of course, our relation with the European Union, but also on solving the conflicts in our region. And the most important conflicts are Libya, Iraq, Syria. Of course, we have because we are a country of the Maghreb, and we experience our concern right in the situation in Libya, because we need to support the Libyan people in their national endeavor towards reconciliation. Of course, we are ready to work with any. I know that South Africa today is chairman of the African Union, and it's tried to bring its contribution to find an issue to this Libyan crisis. I think we have some compromise, which is the Schewet Agreement. This solution, of course, of this conflict must be political. Okay. The second issue in our foreign policy, and also you are facing the same challenge, is the presence of uncontrolled armed groups, militias, and terrorist players not only in the Maghreb and Sahel, which is our region, but also lately, even in our new region in Mozambique. I was saying a few months ago in a conference here in South Africa that South Africa should follow up this issue of terrorist groups in Mozambique and elsewhere, because of course, if today you are safe, but these terrorist people are active. They try to use the crisis, the vacuum, to create hope, and they are taking control even over economies and institutions. So these are very challenging issues, and we can work together, South Africa and Morocco, to fight all this radicalization, extreme violence, and in many cases, people who promote culture of health. Of course, the fight against terrorism needs today more than ever a pragmatic and responsible approach. You cannot defeat these people, I call them the bad guys, only through security and military instruments. We need to fight against radicalization through a new narrative and through deconstruction of the jihadist narrative. I'm sorry to say so, to insist on this issue, because we are in South Africa, where there is a very important Muslim community which is integrated in the country, which is playing an important role, but you never know, because this radically, if we don't ensure stability and security in the region, you are moving nowhere. So we need to have this approach to combat these extremist ideas. Nobody is safe. Europe, America, Africa, and elsewhere.
Your Excellency, we're going to have to leave it there, but thank you very, very much indeed for giving us your time this evening to talk about your country and its place on the continent, vision for the future, and how you're trying to tackle some of the challenges that your country is facing at this time.